We recently had a enhancement request to be able to call a SQL stored procedure with parameters from the query window in Temps Plus. And I'm happy to report that we were able to accommodate that feature, and this little video will show you how to leverage it. Again, you access the query window through Report Query. Now, to create queries, you need to be the super user. To run any query in the query window, you need to have supervisory equivalence, but to actually initiate queries that are accessible to other users, you need to be the super user proper. And I'm not going to get into a lesson in query building. Rather, the assumption is that you know how to create stored procedures in the SQL database, and you want to give access to them to users. And you can call stored procedures currently without any in your current version, but this specifically allows for user-supplied parameters, where the user will get a chance to enter the parameters for the stored procedure to run within. To begin with, we'll take a look at the SQL database proper in the SQL Server Management Studio. We'll select one of these Temps Plus databases and go into Programmability, Stored Procedures. And what I'll look at today is just one of the standard stored procedures used within Temps Plus. Temps Plus calls it internally, but we'll expose it so that we can call it right from within the query window and return the records to a grid. We'll use this time card entry, employees without time, as a stored procedure. And the parameters are listed here. And these are the parameters that we want to have the user specify when they execute the stored procedure from Temps Plus. So once we've noted the name of the stored procedure and the parameters we need, we're ready to go into Temps Plus and set it up. So we're back in the query window, and we enter. The only thing that we have to get exactly right is the name of the stored procedure, and the names of the parameters aren't important. The position of the parameters are important, because only the values are sent back to SQL Server when the stored procedure is executed. So TCE emps without time and low pay number, high pay num. The other thing that's important is all parameters must begin with an @ sign, and that's a trigger to Temps Plus about how this should be handled as well. So whether or not private records were shown, private records are internal staff records, and location limiter, and the period end. And that's it. So we've got our 5 parameters, comma separated, all beginning with an @ and again, the position of the order of the parameters is important. The exact naming of them as they are in the stored procedure is not important. And now we'll save that query. New query name, show employees with no time this week. Allow access to this query by other users? Yes. We're going to let other supervisory users that have access to the query window, we're going to allow them to run this stored procedure. Is this a SQL pass-through query def? Yes, we want to run it right against the server. Enter connect property value. You can actually run a stored procedure in a different database but we're going to say automatically use the Temps Plus database we're logged into. We just put in an A for that. Is the query row returning? Yes, it's going to return us a list of the employee records. Other stored procedures may just manipulate data, like updating things, whatever. In this case, the sample we're using here will return records. Now, we're ready to go. When you execute the query, the user is presented with the list of parameters. I'll just put some values in here. Private is internal staff, and maybe you've got a stored procedure and you've got some parameters in it that you need, but you don't want to have those parameters accessible, like show private staff records. You need it in your stored procedure proper, but you don't want to have it available for entry for users running it within Temps Plus. You can lock down a value, and I'll show you how to do that. Location limiter, which location, and period end date. I put in a bogus location because I don't want to be returning any records right now, because we're using legitimate data and I don't have a demo SQL database set up, so this is live data, and I just wanted to show you the record set returned. It's an empty record set, but you get the idea. Now, as far as locking down, specifying defaults, say your weekly payroll and your pay numbers that you're interested in are always 1. So follow the parameter name with an equal sign and the default value for it. Private, you want to have always, no, don't show private records. Now you want to have that always, more than just a default, a locked down default. Now to lock it down, just follow the default value with an exclamation point. And location, maybe you've always got, you're only using one location. And let me update it. Let me save the updated version first. And now execute that. And you see our values are in here. And the pay number range we didn't lock down, so this is still updatable. Private, we did lock down, and you can hear the keyboard clicking away. It doesn't matter. I can't type in that field. And again, location limiter is not locked down, so I can. And of course, period end. And the only other thing I'd point out is that parameters business is available for any standard queries as well. The only thing is, with standard queries, you don't use the @ check date between begin date and end date, where begin date and end date are implicit parameters. When we go to execute that, you see we get prompted for our date range. And that's it. Thanks for joining us.